Hey, good Monday morning mortgage market update. John Horton with Prime Lending. Thanks for watching and all the great comments I received throughout the weeks. And if there's something you want me to touch on or something you want to talk about, either just send me a message, give me a call, or slap it on here and I'll review it next week. I figured today there's a lot of stuff going on in the mortgage world. If you've been following mortgage rates, they went a little crazy last week. Your 30-year fixed generally is a little north of 3%, and it was about 2.75, 2.875 as recently as a week or two ago. So if you have an application out there and you're floating, call your lender. It should be me, but for some reason it may not be. Call your lender, find out where your rates are at. If they have not reached out to you, if you were floating at 2.75, you're probably going to be at 3 or 3.125 today. So if you're refinancing, double check those numbers, make sure it's worth it for you to do it. If you're purchasing, get a hold of your lender, see what you think about locking, see what your payment now is. Again, if it's gone up 3/8 of a point, depending on the loan size, it's an increase. Not crazy, still a great time to buy, awesome time to buy if there's houses on the market. Great time to refinance, still. Rolling in other debts really does make it worthwhile. I know we've talked on that. But today I'm going to touch a little bit just really on the back to basics of what the mortgage process does. If you're old like me, you remember that little bill that went to Capitol Hill and then they bounced around and he showed how it became a law. We're going to do that with mortgages because as I was going through a few things last week, I had some borrowers ask me questions and I realized maybe I didn't explain the process appropriately. So whether you're purchasing or refinancing, the key is up to you. People ask, how quick can you close? My answer is, will you give me everything I need at once? If you do, we can close quickly. We can take advantage of these low rates. So when you call me, and if it's a purchase or a refinance, you're going to need certain documentation. Let's just say it's a refinance. Let's say it's a purchase. Same thing. Not really. You know what I'm saying. So you're going to need to get bank statements, pay stubs, tax returns, W-2s. Possibly not. We can verify a lot of that electronically, so it may be even less documentation. But when you apply, you're going to fill out the application online. It's going to take you maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to get a note saying you're done. I'm going to call you. We're going to go through it. We're going to make sure everything is right. You're going to give me consent to pull your credit. I'm then going to pull your credit. We're going to run some numbers. We're going to review your credit score. Your credit score has a lot to do with your pricing. Your loan to value has a lot to do with your pricing. Minimum down payment does not need to be 20. It can be as low as 3, 3.5, or even 5%. But we'll get into that later or some other day. So you're going to give me your documentation. We're going to put the loan in. It's going to go to underwriting. In underwriting, it's going to go to processing. Processing is going to review your documents for a day or two. They're going to make sure everything is in there. If everything is in there, they're going to send that little fella off to underwriting. Underwriting is where the decision is made. Even though you have a pre-approval letter, underwriting still needs to review the documentation. I think that is the biggest point of confusion for people. I can shoot you out a pre-approval letter within 5 minutes of you filling out an application. Very quick to do. But when you have that pre-approval letter, it does not mean you are approved. It means if everything is right and your house appraises out and things are cool, then you will be approved. Underwriting is going to have your file for maybe 48 hours. What they're going to kick out then, if it is conditionally approved, they're going to send out a conditional commitment letter. On that conditional commitment letter, it is going to tell you what you need to gather in order to get fully approved. Some of it may not be you to get. The processing team will get it. I will get it. We may need some documentation from you. We may need an LOX, which is a letter of explanation. Very clean, very concise. But that commitment letter, conditional commitment letter comes out. I give you a call. We get the rest of the documentation. It goes back to underwriting. Appraisal comes in about a week later. That gets approved. Now you're going to get what's called a clear to close. Simply means you're clear to close. Your house appraised out. We have all the right documentation. Credit scores where it needs to be. Everything is good. The ratios are good. Ratios meaning your debt divided into your income can only be a certain percentage. If that's a little high, we catch it on the front end. What we'll do, we'll catch it on the front end and maybe have you shop for a home that's not as expensive as you're looking for. or maybe pay off some of your debt if it's a refinance, and we'll be able to do it. Melissa Lively, good morning. How are you? All your thumbs up. Always a pleasure to see you out here. So in the front of the pre-approval, if it's a purchase, we're going to run those numbers before you go look at a house. Make sure that is fitting for you. So when you get in Melissa's car, for instance, to go look at a property, you're looking at the right property. All of this is caught up front when we see your numbers, when we see your credit, when we see what kind of home you're looking for. So very key to be prepared. And like we always say, even if you're not thinking of purchasing, it's probably not a bad idea to get pre-approved, because the way the homes are moving, the way you may get a knock on your door and say, hey, I want to buy your house. Kelly Smith, good morning. So again, it starts with you. Your refinance is very similar. Your refinance, you're going to gather the documentation that I need. You're going to fill out that application. That's going to take you about 10 minutes. Very sleek, very clean application. I'm going to call you. We're going to review it. I may need some extra documentation, and if you sit on your hands and don't hand it to me, it's going to take you that much longer. So the opportunity is there. It's very basic. It's very simple. But starting with the application, go through the process. It goes to processing. It goes to underwriting. And again, underwriting is the decision maker. Underwriters will make sure the guidelines are being followed for the product, and you'll get your answer. Aldo, good morning. How are you, my friend? A lot of cool people out there. Someone mentioned they wanted to talk about rates. And again, I really don't sell rates. I sell service, and I know we can get your stuff done. But rates did take a jump. Like I talked about a few minutes ago, if you're floating, if you're looking at a house, the way the rates have moved may change your pre-approval. If you're looking at a house and rates have gone up 3/8, if you were very close on those ratios, your pre-approval may not be good anymore because your payment has gone up, and maybe it went up enough that it knocked you out of the box. So reach out to your lender, find out what you can be pre-approved for. Someone else last week had said they also paid off debt. They got a cash out refinance. They were literally paying, that means literally, paying $1 less a month on their mortgage. But they paid off 2 credit cards and a car loan, and they were saving $750 a month. So it may not seem like a lot if you think, I'm saving $1. They're saving $750 a month. So there's opportunities out there. We can have this conversation without pulling your credit, because some people don't want their credit pulled. Totally understandable. But if you want to run some numbers, you give me a jingle. I'm here. I'm waiting for you. It's March 1st, for Christ's sake. Have a great March. We'll talk to you soon.